Welcome to the podcast series, Small Business Survival Conversations. Through our weekly conversations, we hope to provide you with strategies and insights, knowledge and expertise to enlighten you as you work to build and grow your business.
Good morning, business warriors, and welcome back to another power-packed episode of Monday Morning Motivation here on Small Business Survival Conversations. I'm your host, Anna Steinfest, and if you're listening to this while sipping your first cup of coffee, wondering how the heck you're going to tackle another overwhelming week, this episode is for you. Today, I'm not going to give you theory or feel-good fluff or stories. I decided that I'm going to share with you a battle-tested tool that I've used with hundreds of small business owners over the past 2 decades. A tool that can turn your biggest and scariest goal from pipe dream into step-by-step action plan. This tool is called backward planning. And by the end of this 10-minute episode, you'll know exactly how to use it to make this week and your entire year, for that what it matters, radically more productive. Here's what I see happening in small businesses every single day. Entrepreneurs wake up with big dreams. They want to double revenue, launch new products, expand their teams, or break into new markets. Does that sound familiar? But then what happens? They start where they are and ask, okay, what's my next step? And that's where they get stuck. Because when you're standing at the base of Mount Everest with nothing but a vague idea of going up, every direction looks equally overwhelming. So they do what most people do. They start planning and tweaking their plans and researching better planning methods. They become professional preparers, but they never become professional achievers. I call this getting ready to get ready syndrome. And it's killing small businesses, I can tell you that. While you're perfecting your plans, your competitors are taking imperfect action, and guess what? They're eating your lunch. But what if I told you there's a way to flip this entire process? What if instead of starting where you are and stumbling forward, you could start at your destination and create a clear roadmap backward to today? That's exactly what backward planning does. And it's based on a simple but profound principle that Stephen Covey taught us. Begin with the end in mind. And I'm sure that some of you who know Stephen Covey are familiar with this concept. So here's how most people think. I'm here. I want to get there. What's next? We call this one forward planning, and it leads to wandering. Backward planning flips it. So we say, I'm going to be there on this specific date. What had to happen right before that, and before that, and then before that, until you work your way backwards to today. So this isn't just motivational speaking. This is, in fact, how NASA gets rockets to Mars. They don't launch and hope for the best. They calculate exactly where Mars will be on arrival day. Then, work backward through every trajectory correction, with every fuel burn, every navigation checkpoint, until they know precisely what needs to happen at T minus 0. And as Henry Kimsey House brilliantly said, a goal without a date is a dream. I'll take it one step further. A dream without a backward plan is just a wishful thinking. But a dream with a date and a backward plan, I can tell you that this is a guarantee for success. All right, so let's get practical. Here is your 5-step backward planning process. Step number 1, you have to name your prime objective. Not just, I want to grow my business. This is not a goal. That's pretty much a wish. Your prime goal or objective needs to be very specific, needs to be measurable and slightly scary. Let's say by June 30th, 2026, I will have increased my monthly reoccurring revenue from 15,000 to 30,000, double it. Do you feel the difference? The second version makes your brain start working immediately. Step number 2, you have to set non-negotiable date. So circle on your calendar, put it in your phone, tell your spouse, make it real. Deadlines create urgency, and urgency creates action. Step number 3, I want you to start working backward from that date. And this is where the magic happens. Start at your end date and ask, what needs to be true the month before I hit this goal? What about 3 months before that? What about 6 months before that? Keep asking yourself these questions until you get to today. Each answer becomes kind of a milestone in your backward plans. Step number 4, make every milestone specific and measurable. Don't write, for example, I want to improve marketing. Write, I want to launch email sequence that converts 15% of the subscribers into discovery calls. Now, did you see the difference? The first one is very vague, hope. The other is a concrete target you can measure. Step number 5, I want you to identify today's action. Your backward plan must tell you exactly what to do today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because the only moment you can control is today, or this one. So let me show you this in action with a real example, just to make sure that you understand. So Sarah, she owns a graphic design business and wants to launch a subscription service. Here is how she used the backward planning. So her prime goal, by December 31st, 2025, she wants to launch a design subscription service with 500 active paying customers at $99 per month. So working backward, November 2025, she has to do full launch and customer acquisition campaign. September 2025, she has to complete beta testing with 50 test customers. July 2025, she has to finish building a testing the platform. May 2025, she has to finalize service packages, pricing, and onboarding process. March 2025, she has to build email list to 3,000 targeted subscribers. January 2025, she has to create lead magnet and launch list building campaign. So today's action: draft the lead magnet, outline and write the first email in her welcoming sequence. See how this works? Instead of wondering, how do I start a subscription service? Sarah knows exactly what to do today and tomorrow and every day until December 31st, because she chunked this large goal into very doable action steps. The backward plan eliminates the overwhelm and it's replacing it with clarity. So here's your challenge for this week, and I want you to complete this before you go to bed today. First, I want you to pick one major goal for your business. Not 5 goals, not 3 goals, just one. The one that would make the biggest difference if you achieve this goal in this year. Second, I want you to set a specific deadline, not by summer or by the end of the year. Pick exact date. Third, spend 20 minutes creating your backward plan. Work from that deadline back to today. And I want you to identify 5 to 7 major milestones along the way. Fourth, I want you to identify what you need to do today to take the first step toward that first milestone. Fifth, I want you to take that action before you go to sleep tonight, even if it's just sending one email or making one phone call or writing the first paragraph of something important. Because here's the truth that more than 20 years in this business has taught me. The difference between dreamers and achievers isn't talent, isn't luck, isn't even intelligence. It's the willingness to turn dreams into dates and dates into daily actions. Life is still going to throw curveballs at us. Ken Blanchard reminds us that life is what happens when you're planning on doing something else. Your backward plan won't prevent surprises, but it will give you a North Star to navigate by when things get chaotic. And they will get chaotic, especially if you're in business for yourself. That's not pessimism. Again, that's just normal entrepreneurship. But with a solid backward plan, you'll be able to adapt without losing momentum. You will know exactly where you're going and exactly what it takes to get there. So remember this. Don't just dream it. Date it. Plan it backward and take the first step today. I'm Anna Steinfest, and I'll see you next Monday with another tool to help you not just survive in small business, but absolutely dominate. Now, stop listening and start planning your future. Self is counting on what you do in the next hour.
You've been listening to the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode. In the meantime, hook up with us on our Facebook group at Small Business Survival Tools and Tips. Till next time, thank you for listening.